Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
What's happening, fight fans? Chris Simpson here with Combat Sports UK, back with another pre-fight interview for Almighty FC. Here with someone making their pro debut who I've interviewed quite a few times before, been at his last 4 fights. Always thought it might be the time to step up because of the skills I've been developing so much. But yeah, I'm here with Dylan McGee. Thank you very much for joining me, mate.
Yep, thank you for having me, Chris.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. I want to kind of touch on your last fight versus Tamas Yakab, because that was a kid who everyone thought was going to be the next big thing. And no disrespect to Tamas, but you made that fight look easy. Was that kind of what propelled you and made you make the decision to turn pro now?
Definitely, because people were saying he's the next big thing, and like the Tapology stats were saying 95% voted for him or something, but I'm the next big thing, and that did. My plan was to do the 4 Nations or something in June, July, but I had to pull out of that. So I was going to do that and get a bit more experience, but then that didn't work out, and then I just knew I was ready for pro. My coach came to me and said I'm ready, so I feel ready. So.
Yeah, I thought you were. And like I said, I mean, at that event, there was a few of us watching upstairs, and a few of the guys were like, Tamas is the beast, Tamas is the beast. And it's like, I'd seen you go through, since your 4th fight, maybe, this kind of shift, and you just got so much better so quickly, and everything was kind of just coming together. Was that the best you've ever felt going into a fight?
Yeah, it was. I was the most confident. Obviously, it was a title fight, so that lit the fire in my soul, because I needed that belt more than anything. So every second I was devoting it to that, and he was just. I felt like I was stronger and I'd got more experience than him. And when I was in there in the fight with him, I felt like he didn't want to strike, and I thought he would want to wrestle with me, and I felt confident in striking, and I believe in my jiu-jitsu game as well, so I don't mind where the fight ever goes.
Yeah, like I said, it was pretty much everywhere you had the advantage in that fight, it seemed. Just moving on to obviously 10 days time, pro debut. How was kind of preparation been going, and kind of how are you feeling just under 2 weeks out?
I'm feeling very confident. It's probably the least, probably the most confident I've ever felt for a fight. But obviously, every fight I get more confident, and training has been going good. I've been training hard with my main training partner is Jay. He's been going southpaw for me, so I've been getting the experience fighting at southpaw, because he's a southpaw, the lad I'm fighting, and I feel confident, most confident I've ever felt, and I can't wait to throw elbows and knees to the face. I think that favours me because I'm tall. I'm a tall bantamweight, so I think that favours me, the elbows and knees, and it's definitely a weapon I'm going to utilise in my fight.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, you are really tall for the division, and you've got that range. And I think a lot of people, especially now you're able to use those stepping knees coming up the middle, I think a lot of people are going to struggle to kind of get inside your range. And this Ayub, who you're fighting, obviously he's got a few submissions on his record. Do you think he'll be coming to try and get the fight to the floor, or do you think he's going to try and stand with you?
I think he will try and stand with me. Either way, it doesn't matter, but I do think he'll try and stand with me. But I think actually after he stands with me for like a minute, he'll probably end up trying to take me down, because I don't think he'll want to stand with me for very long.
No, it's going to be a really interesting fight, and I think it's a good opponent to have for your first pro fight, because he's got that amateur experience as well. So you're kind of both coming in with the same experience level. You fought obviously in Almighty, he's fought in Almighty as well. Have you seen much of his fights? Have you been there and watched many of his fights live?
No, I don't remember watching any of his fights live, but I think I've watched all his fights on YouTube, and what I think of him is he's pretty average in every area, maybe even a bit sloppy in the striking, and I think I'll catch him. And obviously, he lost to one of his losses to Luke Burns, and I think that says it all really, because I'm not underestimating him, but he's 5-4 and he's had 9 fights. I've had 9 amateur fights, and I think I'll walk away with an early finish.
Yeah, I kind of want to speak to you. Obviously, I think your first 4 fights, you went 1-3, and then you kind of went, or 2-3, and then you kind of went on a bit of a tear, and everything sort of changed for you. What kind of changed with your training, or your even the mental ability? What kind of changed to give you that success?
There's quite a lot of things really. Obviously, like I said, I've probably underestimated some opponents in my past, so that's never ever going to happen again. I take every opponent as serious as I can now, and also when I did suffer them losses, I was going through a transition stage in my life. That was like my first year of uni as well, and that probably played a little part in me not training as hard as I could have for them fights, in particular. And then obviously after I'd got that third loss, that's when that just everything changed really, because that's when that hit me hard, because then I was actually in a negative like win-loss ratio, and I never thought that day would ever come. So I had to flip the switch and just win my fights.
Yeah, it certainly happened. And I think what kind of helped is obviously Zach as well. You and Zach kind of were getting success at the same time. And were you kind of spurring each other on, and you were kind of motivating each other as well?
Yeah, absolutely. He's probably my biggest motivation. Like he's always disciplined, and when I see him winning fights, it motivates me. It makes me think I can go further. Like for example, he fought for the title, the FCC title, and then that motivated me and made me think, right, I need to be fighting for a title now. And then that I ended up fighting for the almighty title. So he pushes me every day. He's a massive motivation.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're kind of getting the UK's answer to like the Diaz brothers now. This is kind of how I had it in my head. I was like this. I think I said it to someone at a golden ticket event a couple of like last year. I was like it's going to be the UK's answer to the Diaz brothers right here.
Absolutely.
Just obviously first pro fight and training for your first pro fight, has the preparation been much different to it was for amateur fights, or has the basics and the base and the platform kind of been the same?
Pretty much similar, but I've changed a few things around. One thing, obviously, I've been training 4 ounce gloves, which I really like the feel of the 4 ounce gloves, and I think I'll do damage in them. The other thing is I did strength and conditioning. I got the coach Ballistic Performance, so I've been doing strength and conditioning with him twice a week, which is more. So I'm more dialed in with the strength and conditioning than I was adding jumps, and also helps if I've got any questions, I can just go to him and ask him, and it's good having like that extra support there. But that's pretty much it. Same old fight camp. Got all the habits I do for every fight camp with my meditation and my cold showers and my breathing, and it's just about being disciplined all day, every day until the fight comes.
Yeah, definitely. And on obviously fight night, you're making your pro debut on a show that you've spent a bit of time as an amateur. Was it, and you're obviously a champion there as an amateur. Was it important for you to make your pro debut on Almighty as a show that you felt comfortable on, it kind of looked after you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the show I had the most fights on, and I know everyone who works there, and I feel really good fighting on it. And it's Ray, the guy who runs it. He's dead nice to me. So it's a show I love, and I love to fight in it. And now, yeah, I'm glad I get to be. I think I'm the main event for the show. So I've worked my way up, and now I'm here, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. And do you have a prediction for fight night? How do you see the fight going, and how do you see yourself winning this fight?
Uh, I see it first round finish, either submission or KO.
And what kind of obviously, because I know you said you don't underestimate your opponents ever. What kind of challenges do you think he's going to pose for you? And is there anything you're going to have to kind of be careful of?
Yeah, wild shots. Um, yeah, I don't want to get caught with anything wild, but I do believe I've got a good chin, and I think I'm very defensively sound. So I don't think there's too much I need to worry about. I just need to go in there and get the job done.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, should you get your hand raised, obviously it's coming to the end of the year. I guess you want to enjoy your Christmas and stuff like that. What are you looking at start of 2024, and then for the rest of the year?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and have a couple months off, maybe enjoy Christmas, like I said, and then I've got some names I'm thinking of fighting like start of next year. So I've sort of got an idea in my head, but I'll focus on this fight, and then after that comes maybe go down like got some different like Anthony Pettis' show, maybe go down that route, or maybe Cage Warriors, maybe try and go that way, or whatever comes almighty again. But I've got some idea of certain people I want to fight, and I might even call a few people out after this fight.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think everyone will be looking forward to that, and I think everyone that's not watching you already will start to watch you, and they'll realize how many skills you bring to the table, and the calmness you kind of bring into the cage, which is not what a lot of people do. At an earlier time in their career, they kind of get a bit wild, but not you at all. You're a very mature fighter, especially for someone who's just making their pro debut. So yeah, all the best of luck, mate. And I think it's going to be a fantastic performance. And obviously, I'll be watching and can't wait to see it. And yeah, but no, thank you very much for coming on, Dylan. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Make sure you watch it 4th of November. If you can get there, go there. I think there's still tickets available. You can get them through all my EFC on the Instagram page, anything like that. And make sure you go check out this guy because he's going to be a big name in the future. Nice one. Thank you very much, guys. You tune
Thank
in
you.
to. Thank you.